Alright guys, so I just pulled my cup holder out of my 1999 Dodge Ram. This is a panel to it, and I'll explain that in just a second. I've been looking online for the better part of, actually a little over a week, now that I think about it. And I haven't been able to find a solution to my problem that I've been having, and I finally figured out how to fix it myself. So, wanted to do just a real quick video to show you what I did, how to fix it. It's not 100% brand new style, but it definitely works. So anyway, there's a lot of videos on how to fix this, how to pull this thing out and all that. That's why I didn't bother putting it in the video. It just made it longer. So this piece actually comes out. You got a total of six screws, two there, and you have two that are here that actually, unfortunately, to get it out, you do have to remove your instrument bezel. Sorry. Be very careful when you pull the instrument bezel out because, of course, as you very well know, those stupid things break regularly. Anyway, and they are not cheap to replace. Long story short, I took it out because I wanted to open this up. My problem actually is not with this. This actually is perfectly fine. It's intact, no problem. And I've got a bunch of how-to videos on how to make it work without having to replace this piece if I need to, so not worried about that. My problem was actually just as common, just not as openly talked about, and it's this piece here, right? This side was actually just fine. As you can see, it has lots of tension. Okay, you know, got to put a little force to move it around, which is your cup holder adjustment bar, aka what you use to move it in or move it out so that your different size cups will fit. This side, however, and it's already fixed, so it's not going to do it now, was just kind of flopping around. It was just swing in and out with very little effort. I could literally just flick it with my finger, and it was moving. So obviously, if I didn't put an absolutely huge cup in here, it was wobbling all over the place, and it would actually spill over the floorboard if I'd driven the truck anywhere. So, as somebody who has small children and things like that, and of course, you know, you get different size cups at different fast food restaurants, you get different size cups that you bring from home. It is kind of important that these actually work. Unless, of course, you're always drinking from a really, really huge cup, which I know some people do. But in this case, I'm not that person, so I needed to get these fixed and or replaced. I did try to buy another one. I didn't have a lot of cash to throw at it, so I bought a used one. Problem being, the used one unfortunately had the exact same problem, except that instead of it being on the driver's side, it was on the passenger side. So I am in the process of returning that to get my money back because I don't have any use for a broken cup holder. So so I decided to pull this one because I was gonna have to either A, replace it, or B, fix it, one of the two. So either way, it was gonna have to come out. And I popped my back panel off. It's wet. I just washed it. It had literally had like probably years worth of soda and coffee from the previous owner. It's been sitting. This truck has been sitting in my driveway for a couple of years since I bought it because I didn't have the time or the money to really put into it. So I popped this off. All you need is a flathead screwdriver. You'll take note, okay, because I didn't realize how many there were, and I didn't break any, but it could have gone badly. So you have 3 tabs on either side, okay, and you have 2 in the back, okay. And you got this little bar here that's like a little piece that just kind of, it's like a hinge sort of thing. But anyway, you've got 3 on the other side as well, so just be aware of that. These don't have them, they're just little lips that kind of hang in there. So what I did was I used a flathead screwdriver. I started here and just kind of inched my way around with putting little markers holding it open until these popped up. Okay, they pop up fairly easily as long as you do it right. So now that you can see these tabs, don't have to worry about so much breaking them. Alright, so then here's this. Okay, you can actually close this lid. It doesn't really matter if it's open or closed. But this is the actual underneath or inside of what's underneath this panel here. Okay, so when you're looking at it, obviously that's the opening side. Okay, so this is the hinge to the back. Okay, just so you can see which direction you're looking at it here. This side is the passenger side because it's upside down, of course. And as you can see, the little mechanism that makes it move, sorry, let me get the camera right, okay, and it is very hard to move, okay, is basically just a plastic arm, okay, that's attached onto this thing. It's just a plastic arm here, which is actually this whole piece here, okay, and I know you can't really see it very good. I'll try to tilt it in the light, but the plastic actually goes up over the top of this lip there, okay, so this piece actually, even though you can't hardly tell, is actually part of this. Anyway, this is a piece of metal that is just basically springy type thing. So it's like a clip, if you will. It's just a metal clip. This little ridge here, the resistance is kept by that little I'm sorry, not the resistance. That's wrong. The resistance is actually from here, holding onto this piece of plastic, but the plastic here is what gives it its gear effect. Okay, that actually is also attached to the full plastic arm. Okay, so if you were to take the plastic arm off, pull that clip, and pull the plastic arm up, what you would see is this piece that would actually show that little piece of plastic hooking over and coming down into this little loop. All right. So that's all you would have to do to remove this, is remove this part, and then there's an attachment in here which you can't really see, but anyway, you can pop it out basically. Now, this side was good. I just needed this side to reference basically how this mechanic thing worked. Okay, if you need to pop this clip off for any reason, okay, a flathead screwdriver will pop it right off. Be careful. It is very much like a spring, and it will pop right up and hit you in the face if you're not careful. Okay, it didn't pop up and hit me, but it did fly across my living room when I was taking it apart, so be very careful with that. On this side, what I found when I opened mine up, I saw a couple of pieces of plastic hit the floor, and this metal piece also did too. So clearly my plastic arm broke, okay, which is not unusual. Okay, plastic gets old and it gets crappy like anything else, okay. Somebody probably handled it a little too rough. This thing probably cut into it, who knows. So what I did was I found a piece of plastic that was, it doesn't have to be the exact same width, it's just going to give it a little more play. But I just found a piece of plastic that had two ends. Okay, there's an end here, and even though it's just a small little bit, there's an end over here too. So that when this clip clips down over the top of the plastic, it's going to create the resistance needed to push up against here, because you want this thing to be tight. Alright, so you have this metal arm, you put the piece of plastic in the middle, make sure it's got two flat ends so that this can move around back and forth this way, and it actually touches it. Let me see if I can move it so you can see. Okay, so when I move it this way, okay, it pushes up against this side, but then when I pull it back this way, you can see it moving a little bit. There is more movement in this one than there is in this one. This one is definitely not as tight. However, it is tight enough, okay, and stable enough that it's going to stay in place, so that when you go to put your cup in place and you need your cup holder to hold it like it's supposed to, okay, you get enough resistance, sorry, you get enough resistance, okay, as you can see, okay, to make it work, okay. Alright, you can see they both have the basic same tension. The only difference between the two is this one doesn't have that that gear ridge feeling to it like this one does, but honestly that makes absolutely no difference. So this is not necessarily a permanent fix, but it will get the problem solved, at least until you can find the parts you need or can afford the parts you need. And it took me, actually probably took me longer to find the small piece of plastic. I actually cut it out of a wall mount for a razor blade stack that you can buy from like Home Depot or wherever really. I think Walmart sells them too. It actually had a wall mount for it so that you could mount it on the wall and just pull the razor blades out as you needed to in your shop or whatever. So, but I didn't use the bracket. I didn't need the bracket. I just keep it, you know, in my toolkit in the garage. So, replaced it with that part. I literally just cut it out with some snips, and I mean, parts of the plastic came off a little bit, but it wasn't anything that made it horrible. So, but you can pretty much repair it with any kind of plastic that you have like that. If you happen to have a small little plastic piece, it doesn't have to be anything spectacular, it doesn't have to be the same color, just something that'll create that tension on that clip and won't allow the clip to slip off, because it'll run into one end of the plastic or one end of the other side of the plastic. So that's how I fixed this. I'm about to pop that piece back on. I'm going to clean this one up. Obviously it's pretty dirty, so yeah, the guy that owned it before me, he clearly was spilling things regularly, because this is like old, nasty, caramelized stuff. But and then I will redo the interior of my truck and make it like new. Anyway, hope this helped you guys out. Like I said, it was just a video that I hadn't seen, so I wanted to post something about it so that you guys could see what you needed to do. But yeah, good luck, and hopefully you can find a plastic piece to snap in there, and hopefully you still have all the parts that you need. That that metal spring is the main thing. So anyway, have a good one, guys.